Okay, one of the things that in the flower farm here is we have a small market for daffodils or specialty daffodils, or typically doubles or very frilly insides or special colors. And we sell quite a few of those in the spring. Daffodils for us are pretty early. They go from March till pretty much the end of April. And when they're finished, the area where the bulbs are planted has always been kind of a tough one for us to figure out, what we could do over it that would make any sense. Because if we planted anything over it, since we're no-till, we could plant over it. And so we decided this year to take the plunge and give it a shot. So the first thing we did is, in the area that's around here, as the spring grass was growing, we scythed it off and we created, when the daffodils were done, about a 2-inch mulch over the top of the boxes at the end of April. And that pretty much, the tops of the daffodils were pretty much finished at the time we mulched. So the mulch, kind of in combination with the late spring rains, kind of helped just kind of decompose what was left of the tops. Then in early June, we planted into these boxes. We have 7 of them up here, and out of 6 of them we planted marigolds, late season marigolds, and later season zinnias on these boxes. And they did really well. And using K&F solutions to kind of help with keeping minerals balanced and things of that nature, the plants did really well and had very little insect damage. And they're really close to now being ready to start blooming in scale on the marigolds. And we've been harvesting on the zinnias now for about probably a good month. And
But it slowed down because of the wildfires here in Oregon.
yeah,
We lost about 10 days of sunlight. It was like
dusky most of the day
all day.
and very heavy smoke.
And
So,
the plants took a toll. Things way slowed down, but it's a beautiful day today.
yeah, and on Thursday night we had a series of thunderstorms come through with a lot of lightning, but it dumped in a span of about an hour, 2.5 inches of rain on this place, which is kind of unheard of for us. I mean, that's usually something typically happens like you hear like in the southeast, where you get those thunderstorms that just come through and dump a lot of material. But what that did was washed all the ash and all the stuff off the plants.
Yeah,
so
we could breathe again.
they look really good right now. This is about 3 days after that event, so things are looking pretty good. What are we going to do when these things are finished? Now, a lot of people say, well, now you got a root system in there and everything, and that's going to interfere with the dahlia bulbs or dahlia bulbs, daffodil bulbs. And no, it's not, because what we're going to do is we're going to come in and we will cut these plants off right at surface level, and we will leave the roots in the box, and they will rot out. The remainder part of the grass mulch will finish probably rotting away, and as soon as after we cut and clear off these top residues, we'll put probably 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch of just urban compost over the top. And you can see there's a little flush of like our fall weeds that are kind of getting started in here. What we may do if they look really bad is we may just throw a tarp over the bed after we put the compost on for maybe a month.
That's actually an anemone.
Yeah, believe it or not, this is growing in the shade of the marigold. This was an anemone we had left in, which is making us think about other things in the future. So how we could maybe jumpstart anemones, maybe. We'll see what comes out of that in the future. But, so this is what you can do. The off season, you get another crop. So now you're getting 2 crops off the same area. And in this case, because these are small boxes, it works out really good to just use some fast summer flowers to do that. Okay, now let's take a look at one more thing. What we did on another area that was not in raised boxes, but did have those specialty daffodils in it too, and we went a totally different way. Okay, this area you see with me standing in the middle of it. And then if you pan and look behind me, if I will bend to get out of the way, we'll take some other pictures of it. But this was an area that's probably about 60 feet long by about, oh, I don't know, 20 feet wide or so. Okay, this area has two large beds of specialty daffs that are, well, large for us anyway. They're about 4 foot wide, and the one bed is about 40 feet long, and the main bed I'm standing at the head of right here goes down approximately 70 feet. So again, this was kind of an area that when it was finished, what we'd end up with is we'd have to constantly come out here and keep mowing and keep it, keep the weeds from getting out of hand and that sort of thing. So we took a different tack. What we did is we put down a grass straw mulch from grass I'd cut in May before it had gone to seed. We put down about 3/4 of an inch to an inch of it down. We tarped the area. Actually, we tarped it first before we put the mulch down. We'll show you some pictures of that. That's to make sure that we killed off anything that we could in here. We do have some perennial grass in here that spreads by rhizomes, and we're going to be fighting that for a while, but we got rid of a bunch of it. Then we came and said after we pulled the tarps off, after about 3 weeks, we put down the mulch, and then we planted into it ornamental pumpkins that would be like the little ones that you can buy that are Cinderella shaped, or they're all white, or similar like that. We planted those in here along a 60-foot side, and then in the inside we put our own winter squash, spaghetti squash, angel hair squash, and a couple of other varieties of squash. And here we are September 20th, and things are winding down. So we just started harvesting the ornamental pumpkins last week, and we'll be harvesting them more for the next couple of weeks until the vines are completely dead.
We added our first pie pumpkin too that we just ate as roasted in the oven.
Yep.
It was very yummy.
Yep. So they produced really well in here. They don't have, we're not disturbing the root systems of the daffodils. Again, it's the same theory. What we're going to do when these things are done is we will take the vines and whatever's left on residue, and we'll put it in a pathway. Then we're going to tarp it again to help reduce that down for about 3 or 4 weeks. That will be somewhere around the middle of December to the end of December. We pull those tarps off. We will compost the beds, and we will sow some probably clover seed or something like that, crimson clover that can germinate in cooler temperatures for us in the pathways. And then these daffodils beds will be ready to go again.
They'll start poking their noses at probably the first part of January.
Yeah, sometimes even Christmas.
Yeah. So yeah, we gotta put it in the calendar to take the tarps off.
Right. And then we'll just go through and repeat the process again. When they're finished, we'll tarp the area again and just keep going and keep going. Eventually we'll knock down whatever perennial grasses are in here. They're just not going to get a shot. And with the canopy cover that the squash provided, we didn't really get many weeds. We got some weeds towards the back where the canopy wasn't as tight, but in the main area we had very little weed growth. And I think this really worked out well.
So do you think that we'll just keep rotating the pumpkins and the squash in after daffodils?
Yeah, I don't see a reason why we would change it. You're kind of getting a bit of a rotation of things. We're going to undersow, like I said, with some clovers and things like that. We did undersow with some subterranean clover in here before the vines really took off, and it got a little bit of established, but I don't think I would do that again because there's so much canopy cover in here and we'll show pictures in the video, what it looked like at various stages. And it was really, the stuff was, 2
yeah,
3
when
feet
it
tall.
started out, these were teeny tiny plants, and so every Tuesday morning I would come out here, and where I'm standing right now, and I take a picture. So every week I have pictures of how you could barely see them to how they got humongous and very green, and now they're at the end stage.
Right, and the ground out here is really spongy, so
yeah.
it's really been nice. We watered these guys overhead using an overhead sprinkler, but honestly, except for the really hottest part of the season, I was watering these guys maybe once every 10 days. You know, they just really did well. So this one was a success. So what we just wanted to show you guys, you know, the tail end of things here is you can double crop over daffodil beds. And it's just a matter now, don't dig them, obviously, to get rid of the, you know, the crop that you need to get rid of here on the annual side. You just cut and pull it aside and use the residue as, you know, organic material for the next crop that's going to be coming up, which is the daffodils. So anyway, thank you for watching today, and appreciate you coming along on our little fall journey here.
Got lots of cleanup to do, so if you're interested in that, maybe we'll do a few videos on how we're taking the garden over there and getting it all cleaned up.
Yep, we got to move on to winter.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks again, guys, and you all have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye.